This is the 5 Point Play Podcast, the die-hard Duke basketball fans podcast. Jack's got his new gear, fresh from Santa. We are back. It was a little bit of a break for us.
I like the hat.
We got,
Thank you.
Jack,
Thank
for the
you.
hat.
Shout out my parents. It's a lovely hat. You may or may not see it at a game or two this year,
Oh,
but
excellent.
really
I might
hot.
need to borrow-
I'm gonna take it
I might-
off.
I might need to borrow that hat for the Chiefs
Yo.
game I'm going to on
Ooh.
January 2nd. So if you want to ship that down here to the Triangle, that would be much
Nah,
appreciated.
man, get your own. They got them at the bookstore.
Yeah, I'm not
He said
spending
get your own.
I'm not spending $120 on that. Yeah. So obviously we're back. I hope everybody had a great holiday, great Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever you're celebrating. And it was celebration time for Duke fans. That was a huge win. You almost hate to say it in the middle of December to have a game that almost felt AC like a must win. It kind of felt like that for me as a fan. I know we had a massive pregame. If everybody was on Patreon, please join future Patreon pregames.
Yep.
It was fantastic. Pablo was there. Jack was there from the Garden, which was
Yes, sir.
awesome.
Oh, it was so fun.
He's obviously holding it down. Yeah, I mean, what a great game to go to. Obviously, Duke, pulls out the win, and the way that they did it, it felt like a March atmosphere. First of all, I kind of want to start off. I'll start with you here, Jeremy Roach, man. I mean, that guy is just continuing to do absolutely everything on the floor, and I think you were the first to say this. I kind of stolen it and used it on social media. He's no longer March Jeremy; he's every game Jeremy, and I think that's the truth. This year, he's just been playing lights out, not only scoring the ball but leading his team, and then obviously when clutch moments are happening is Jeremy Roach with the ball and making plays.
I want to call a timeout real quick because you brought something up talking about stealing. I just want to put it out there. I was the first one to say the main event. God damn it! I'm so sick of seeing that shit everywhere. All right, go ahead. I just want to say it, man. I've been saying that shit since the summer, bro.
That's true. You have. I think we have it on recorded at the countdown, but
All of it.
yeah, Jeremy's. I mean, he's that guy. I think he's that guy that every college basketball team wants to have on their roster. Like you call a timeout in crunch time, you don't have to draw anything up. Just get him the ball, and that's what and that's what he's doing for Duke when they get stagnant on offense, which we'll go over a little bit later. But yeah, he's playing great basketball, and I think that whole Duke team really showed the world something against Baylor. Like, watch out, this team can be dangerous in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, Pablo, we're going to do an abbreviated coach's corner, give kind of the people an opportunity to see what you, AC, Jack, and D, kind of put together for, breaking down film. But kind of your overall reactions to the Baylor game. It was, great start for Duke. Kind of took a couple punches from Baylor, and then we punched back at the end. What were your overall thoughts on that game?
Just overall, I thought it was a good game. Definitely a good win. Duke needed a signature win against a top tier opponent. Quad one win. Overall, man, I was encouraged in what I saw. The biggest takeaway for me. I mean, I expect guys like I know we were just talking about Jeremy, but I expect Jeremy to do things like that. His role and responsibility is a lot different this year. It's basically score the ball. Fuck everything else, just score the ball. You know what I mean? And be a leader. So I expect him to do those kind of things. But I was more impressed with our two freshman guards, and Jared McCain and Caleb Foster and how they played. I mean, just so poised, man. And not only did Jared score in bunches, but he played phenomenal defense, man. His on ball defense was good. His off the ball defense was good. He didn't, his defensive position on a lot of things. He didn't miss a lot of assignments. He did a great job, man. And Caleb Foster, man, he's just everything, that I thought he would be and more. Just so poised, how he plays the game. He just, you can't speed him up. He just does his thing out there, man. And I think just those few plays that he made towards the end of the game, those scoring the basket and getting to the basket and getting fouled was just key. But it's just a small taste. Pause. of what you know what I mean, what Caleb what we're gonna see from Caleb going forward. And I'm just excited, man, for the whole team. So good win overall.
Yeah, huge win. Jack, obviously we mentioned that you were there. What was the
I
atmosphere?
was. It was insane, to say the least. It felt like a home game. I'm not gonna act like it didn't. I'm sitting there, late game, last 30 seconds, and I just start hearing is everyone screaming "Our house," the "Our house"
Yeah.
chant at the end of the game. The camera, entire stadium is going "Our house, our house." I'm just like, I'm a little far north for that, but you know what?
Cameron
We
North,
take
man.
this
That's
in
what I'm
Cameron
I mean, it
North.
was nice
it was
that
so fun.
we didn't share the gym or we didn't have to share the gym with other teams other than Baylor. You know what I mean? That was nice.
Exactly. Yeah. There were a couple of Baylor fans in my section. There was, a Baylor section behind the bench, but that's just about it. It was completely blue outside of that.
Yeah.
There was a section, not even a section. There was a group of guys right behind me that are friends of Ryan Young's from home that made the trip up. Which, I mean, it's not super far for them being in the Lehigh Valley area in, like Eastern PA. So not more than like an hour and a half or so for them, but a great. It was just so fun having
Ryan
them.
couldn't get them better seats. Ryan couldn't
as
get them
soon
better
as
seats.
Might be able to
I
now
know,
with the way he played.
I know, right?
Totally. Look, I said this on our Spaces post game when I was just sitting in Penn Station waiting for my train home. Give that man his flowers, please.
Got
He
to.
deserves it. But
Got
nah,
to.
so he got that first bucket, which was also his 1,000th career point. So congrats on that. And the guys behind me just exploded. And every time he did anything the rest of the game, everyone in our section just turned to them and we started getting hyped. I'm not going to sit here and act like that wasn't incredibly fun. So there was that, which was
I know not.
nah. Shout out Ryan. That was a fun time, and I'm just like the whole game was electric. Jared was amazing. There was the Baylor live viewer comments can show up on StreamYard. It's true. There was a Baylor fan in my section who was trying to talk down on Jared, saying he's nothing more than a TikTok boy, and then Jared put up 21 points.
Yeah.
It's not too bad for a TikTok boy.
Balling.
Yeah, no, AC, he played excellent. I thought Pablo made a great point. I wanted to focus in on that. That our freshman guard, I thought, played phenomenal. All 5 starters scored in double digits. I thought the defense that both of them played were exceptional. I loved the way that Kalen Foster went in there and grabbed boards. He had 5 rebounds in that game, and every one of them were huge rebounds. I thought that he did a really good job there. Overall, though, just the resiliency of this team. When we got down in that second half, I thought that we had an opportunity there that we could have gotten blown out of the gym if we didn't respond the right way. If we responded in a different way. And so, really happy with the resiliency of the overall team. And then, yeah, as Jack said, Ryan Young came in and gave huge minutes with Flip getting 4 fouls. Just the overall team effort, though, I thought was great.
Yeah, no, it was they won the game the way you're supposed to win games like that, which is you don't get outside of yourself. And I mean, I know the emphasis on taking the 3-point shot is so high, and we're supposed to take the 3. You don't take mid-range shots, all the things that they say and everything. But man, like we were religious. They are religious about trying to find that 3. We were religious about taking the ball to the basket consistently, over and over. It's the game plan that John came up with against UVA. Like John was kind of the architect of the UVA game plan back when we had Zion and RJ and just especially attacking off the elbows. And dude, if that's not what we did this game, you know what I mean? Like we did not get caught in the corners. We did not get caught over there on the break, the high break right there. We were consistently attacking that free throw line area, man, around the elbows and everything. And it was, and we just nonstop. We just never stopped. Like obviously we got opportunistic threes here and there and everything, but if you told me that Baylor's gonna shoot 8 for 18 from 3, 44% from the line, or 44% from 3-point line, and we were going to shoot 4 for 12, I would have told you we probably lost that game. But the emphasis that we put on attacking the bucket and then forcing them into some tougher shots, especially from 2, It was a big time game, and we were even out rebounded this game, man. Like it's 30-26 overall, and Baylor's not a great defensive rebounding team. Excellent offensive rebounding team, but not great on the defensive side. We just weathered that storm.
I think Duke did a good job of getting that offense set up quickly, not waiting for Baylor to settle into that defense, like we talked about on Coach's Corner. Like, get that ball over half court, call your play, get the set running, get downhill, get to the basket, get them in foul trouble, hit your free throws. And
we're gonna highlight it when we do the Coach's Corner thing on here today. We were surgical in how we took away their pick and roll opportunities, number one, on their side, how they like to roll Missy, and we were extremely aggressive on our side of the ball and exploiting the sag, because Baylor also went with the sag. It's something they're not used to doing. They're used to playing in your face, pushing up on you, and then having that help deep, funneling you to one side, and then having 3 or 4 guys to be able to play help defense because you got funneled. The fact that we stayed in the middle of the lane, they couldn't funnel us. They couldn't play that sag because Mark Mitchell was patrolling the baseline, and we're going to show you there's plenty of times where they had to account for Mark on the baseline. Even though they sagged off of him, they still had to account for him because of how we were running the short roll, because of how we were running the pick and roll options and driving to the opposite side of help. And that just left them in trouble, man, the whole game.
Scheme wise, it was I know a lot of people didn't notice it or whatever. I know you guys saw it, but John Shire called a hell of a game. I don't think people really understand what he did. And when we get into the Coach's Corner, I'll highlight some things that people just really don't. They just watch the game, but they don't understand the game. It was a lot of chess moves that John Shire made out there. And on some of the plays, honestly, he just called Scott Drew's bluff and just seeing what he was going to do. And it worked out better for Duke. Obviously, we won the game. But it was just impressive to see like the leap in coaching that John has taken so quickly. And it was impressive, man. So, but we'll get into that stuff.
Yeah, AC, I was just going to say, I think it's a perfect time to jump into the Coach's Corner segment and kind of have you guys give the people if they haven't seen it yet. If you're not on Patreon, please join, because we do, especially for the big games, we'll do a pregame Coach's Corner where we'll break down the film and kind of let these guys, go not only through the X's and O's, but some of the key, as Pablo said, key chess moves that are made throughout the game. We did it post-Arizona. We did it, I think it was Arkansas game, right? And then
we've done a few.
We've done quite a few at this point, yeah.
Yeah, so quite a few at this point, and we're only going to get more as we go along. So let's jump into that Coach's Corner, AC, and just kind of give the people an understanding of what we saw in the Baylor game.
Yeah, and you kind of laid it out. Like, one of the nice things about our Coach's Corner, real quick, before Jack, real quick, we have, it's on our Patreon, sign up, it's free. But all season, we've kind of chronicled how this team has been growing, because we know how the season started. Nobody was happy with how the season started. We kind of chronicled how that progression has been made, and Pablo just brought up a great point about how quickly John has discovered the deficiency of the team and then fixed them very quickly. We were kind of thrown back, I think, by teams completely sagging off into the lane on us, playing that Taco Fall defense is what I like to call it, and just sagging in the lane off of Mark Mitchell and off Ryan Young. A couple of games, that affected us, and we've been able to really recover off of that. So where we gonna go, Jack?
I was just gonna say, normally we have like a telestrator that is me. You guys see me marking up the screen. You won't really be seeing that today, just because I don't really have the ability to do that where I am right now. But generally, if you're watching a Coach's Corner, you're going to see me with the pen on the screen. So just a heads up, you guys are not getting the full Coach's Corner, but getting what we can.
Good. We'll get through it. For the podcast only, folks. Sorry. You gotta watch this on YouTube. Fast forward to this part, to the Queen's preview. But first thing, I just want to jump right in and let me make sure everybody's seeing the full screen action, right?
Yeah, we can see it.
Sir.
All right. So all I want to do, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the beginning of the game, because really, I mean, the meat of the game was that 8-minute segment towards the end of the game That's really where you saw us kind of just take off and just kind of honestly just do what we wanted to do against Baylor on offense and on defense. But there's just a couple of things I wanted to highlight early on that really set the tone for this game, offensively and defensively. Actually, the first clip I'm going to show is a defensive clip. Let's get to it. This is just an example of the help defense that we played all night long, doubling the baller to deny the lob. We saw it last game. We highlighted this on Coach's Corner actually against, I want to say it was against Hofstra, if I'm not mistaken. We started highlighting how aggressive Flip is now on the pick and roll action as opposed to kind of the half sag that we were doing before, and we got smoked against Georgia Tech by it. And now he's been hard hedging. He's been playing higher. He's been doubling that ball handler on the pick and roll. So I'm going to highlight that real quick on this play on defense. I don't know why it's going slow mo. Here we go. So number one, hanging tight. We'd run that shot clock down, and then boom.
Yeah, love the hedge there. I mean, it's something that actually I think Ryan Young does very well when he plays.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice to see that adjustment made by Flip.
One more time, we'll go back to it. So look at that. So you got the 7-foot defender on the 6'1" guard. You got Jeremy in the back getting ready to tag that roller. You got Jared up top denying right there, and Caleb's in position as well. So, and again, just as we watch the clip progress, it's just how difficult that pass is for AJ Dennis, man. And is that Dennis or is that Love? I can't remember. I can't tell if that's. I think it might be actually Langston Love. Either way, the ball handler does not have an opportunity to get that easy pass to Missy, which is what they wanted if they weren't going to get a 3.
You're not making that cross-court pass. And just the hands up from McCain right there, just the denial of having your hands up prevents that pass altogether.
Mm-hmm.
Pass
away, you got to be tight.
Little things,
and
man.
They ran that.
Little things. Like that is a great defensive set right there.
It was so good. It's so good to see that because of how we had been playing defense earlier on in the season, especially on the pick and roll actions, and we just were not defending them well at all, and it led to 3 losses that we probably shouldn't have had.
There was a lot of pointing and talking on that defensive set too that I think went underrated.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Matter of fact, let's run this whole because just the way we played help defense on this entire set and ran their clock down was magnificent, man. Like, because we knew what Baylor was going to do. We knew that they were going to, no matter what, at all costs, get a 3-point shot. And if they didn't get it, just throw it to Missy and hope that he was open down low in the lane. That's kind of what they do. They're not a great 2-point shooting team. They're an excellent 3-point shooting team.
Look, Flip pointing.
Yep. Talking. Butts the baseline.
Yep.
Like all the fundamental stuff, man. Yep.
You see Mark kind of fake a trap there and then get down low to prevent the big man from getting in.
Yep,
that's the little stuff.
His man said that he was the man on the ball handler on the PNR and was able to just switch with Flip right off. One more time, I'll go back.
Yeah, you normally call that recovery, but it wasn't. It was designed. It was designed defense.
That was completely scouted offensive possession.
Right, exactly. That's all I'm saying. It's great execution on the game plan.
I don't know. I got Jack's internet today, apparently.
Yeah, excellent. So again, apologies for the people listening. But when you actually sit down and go on the YouTube, it's great action that you're pointing out here on our defense.
Yeah. And
what else we got?
One more from me, and then I'm going to hand it on over to Pablo. Let's go. We're going to go to the 2049 mark on the video. So this is a great possession on offense. This possession, you had a short roll. And this one I wanted to illustrate just how the SAG defender is being occupied by Mark Mitchell being on the baseline. At this point in the game, they had to do it so much because we put them in this action so often. They weren't even watching the roller anymore. They weren't even watching the ball handler anymore. The help defense was having to watch Mark Mitchell. And like I said, if you go back to the Baylor preview we did, we talked about this, how just what Baylor does, man, and what they do on help defense. And they are always, always, always ball hawking on help defense. All 5 are always around the ball, and they were not able to do that against us. So I'm going to roll this clip.
Just coming off of a little Baylor run too.
Mm-hmm. So right off the rep. So you had the high pick set by Ryan Young. Caleb, took everything he needed to take. And look, if he wanted Ryan Young, he had him, but there was no need. Like he got that mid-range jumper, I believe. I don't know if he made it, and we'll roll through in a minute, but I just want to, if I can get this thing to act right.
That was there for Caleb all night, though, regardless.
Yeah. Jacoby Walters down there. He's Mark Mitchell's man. And Walters got his back to the play, like almost the whole play. Again, this is so uncharacteristic for Baylor with how they play help defense. They usually got 10 eyes on the ball. And in this case, you got two guys paying attention to Mark Mitchell down there. You got Jacoby Walter and Jared McCain's man both paying attention to that baseline action on the opposite side. It was such a good setup by John to just continue to set this up. And again, attacking those off angles, attacking that elbow, free throw line extended area. We did that so much
early in the shot clock too. Like we don't
very
let them
early
get
in the shot clock.
Don't let them set that defense up. Keep them on their toes. Don't let them get comfortable.
And one more thing I wanted to show real quick is a play that John started setting up where instead of just the primary ball handler at the top of the floor running the pick and roll, he started running a play where he was taking Jeremy off ball. He had Caleb on ball most of the night anyway. Jeremy's off ball, running curls off the screens off of the eventual pick and roll man, and then getting the pass off of that, and then looking for the short roll off of that. It was just a beautifully designed play. So you got Ryan Young setting the first screen. He's got, damn. Sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on with my internet today.
Welcome to the party, AC.
Right? I know, right? So right there, he's about to set the screen for Jeremy coming up around the top side up there off that curl. Jeremy's going to receive it, and then he's going to have the short roll option right there, Ryan, off of that action off ball. Really great play design. And actually didn't go with Jeremy that time. I think they rescreened. Am I in the right spot?
Yeah, they did rescreen there for Jared, which
for Jared,
is,
yeah.
Which is
that was the play where Jared took a hit.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's still a great action because you can go for either Jeremy there.
Right. And there's the rescreen. And it was Jeremy who ended up running this play right here where I have it paused. They rescreened. Jared got it this time. And you see where Ryan is open. They overloaded the floor on that weak side. You had the short roll action right there for Ryan, wide open. Shooter's going to be available on that far side, but Jared took it all the way to the basket himself, got the foul. So great play, great draw up. But they started disguising their pick and roll from it's going to be the top ball handler to now we got it rolling for the guy down low. So now I'm going to hand it over to Pablo.
And well, that was the right decision.
Really quick before we do that,
help defense he didn't draw any extra coverage as far as defense goes. So yeah, you made the right play taking your man to the rim. Now, if somebody slides over, like you said, Ryan's there. If somebody else slides over, Mitchell's there. Jeremy's there for the kick out three if you need it. But I mean, we kept Baylor on their toes all game long, and that's the chess thing that we're talking about. John evolving in front of our eyes.
Oh yeah, what you got, Jack?
We also, you see, Mark's defender has obviously been off him, giving him the Taco Fall Trey Jones treatment this whole play. But you see, he's got his eyes on McCain. Mark's kind of starting to look like he can run to the hoop right about here. And there's a good chance that if Jared wasn't able to get to the basket, he had the lob open for Mark.
And that's what I was trying to illustrate on the play before this one that I put up was just how much attention they had to pay to Mark Mitchell, even though they were sagging in the lane and letting him have the three, where in the beginning of the season, we just let him settle for the three. Now he's a threat. He's a lob threat on the baseline. He's a dunker spot threat, all those things. So now they got to pay attention to him. And it's not like Mark had a great game down low where he just forced him into his action. They know that a guy of his size, of his caliber, is going to be able to take whatever he wants to take on that baseline. And now you got that guy sagging, has to pay attention to him. instead of doubling out on the roll or doubling out on the ball handler coming through off that pick and roll action.
And you see that's going to evolve as the season goes on, and our opponents are starting to look at our tape and seeing what kind of actions like this that we're running. That play is now going to be open for Mark later in the year.
Absolutely. It's going to be open for Mark. It's going to be open for the weak side three, which you saw all night. Like, with pick and roll, if you run it correctly and your levels are right, they can try to take away what they want to take away. You're not taking it away, like especially with how good our ball handlers were and how good Pablo pointed this out, how good the freshmen were and aggressive as they were, attacking the basket, using their bodies, being strong at the rim, all those things, man. Like they were so good, man. Caleb and Jared, hats off, man. They were so good. All right, Paz, what you got, bro?
Okay, I'm just gonna highlight some of the key offensive plays from 10 minutes in in the second half, or 10 minutes left in the second half. So just go to 50-20 if you can, Jack.
20 on the YouTube.
Yeah, 50-20 on YouTube. And this play basically is just I'll just wait till they get to it.
Here we are.
All right, so what we're gonna see now is we're just gonna see Flip and Jared in some pistol action, and basically, this is one of the reasons why, what I'm saying, I was
Big
high
shot.
on Jared McCain, coming to Duke.
Mhm.
It's just basically, just pause it real quick, Jack. It's just basically, he's playing his game. John Shire trusts him. He lets him do his thing, and this is exactly how he played in high school. So this right here is a momentum three. You know what I mean? Is the momentum. We were building the momentum to catch up. We were down. You'll see some pistol action right there. Boom. Jared McCain, triple threat, jab step, and then just shoot the three in his face.
And explain to people what the pistol is, Pops.
So pistol action is basically a ball. It's like a pin down, getting into a ball screen. That's basically what it is. So really, realistically, like when Jared McCain gives the ball up to Flip,
Pin down screen right
now
here.
he pin down to Jeremy. He'll come off and get that handoff from Flip. So instead of giving it to Jeremy, he has options. Obviously, he passed it to McCain for the three, so it was all good. But really, the pistol action is really would be Jeremy getting that handoff from Flip right there, and then just turning the corner and making a play.
And that's what Caleb. Real quick, Caleb's up there on that other side looking for the handoff.
Yes, sir.
But
yes, sir. So we'll go to 50-55, Jack.
And again, that's a big time play coming out of a timeout, I believe, when Baylor was on a run.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They've been holding those 6-point leads for a while, back and forth, 6-point lead, and then a couple plays. Flip made a big play right before that, and then the big shot. Huge shot from Jared right there, man. Like Pablo said, and that's a big difference from where we were earlier in the season, right? Like the freshmen are being trusted now by Flip and Roach. Like they are throwing the ball to the freshmen. They are allowing the freshmen to kind of thrive. And it's cliche to say the Proctor injury was a good thing for these guys, but honestly, it was. Like you saw early in the season they were using Proctor as bailout. The freshmen were when they didn't have something, and now you're not seeing that, man. They're finishing plays. Like the freshmen are finishing plays.
Yeah, and the drive that we showed earlier from McCain when he had basically 2.5 different options that he could have finished at the rim, could have dumped it off to Ryan Young if the play develops in a certain way, potentially Mitchell for the lob. But that drive sets up this jab step that he has to allow him that space because he created a couple feet of space with that one simple move, allowing him to get that open look for three. Just a great play overall, and understanding where you are in the game after having that big drive.
Yep. All right, pause. 50-55.
So 50-55. Just hold real quick, Jack. Basically, just pause it real quick. Who's running it, Jack, or is it
AC is running it today? My internet's garbage where I am right now.
Oh, my fault. So this play right here, I just want to highlight just Caleb Foster and how good it is to have a guard that's aggressive, that has a big body, and he knows how to use it. All pause, Jack, TK, all pause. So this is one of the things that we've been missing. Obviously Tyrese and Caleb is about the same height at about 6'5". Caleb is more of an attacking guard, whereas Tyrese, he likes to get in lane and use floaters and things like that. Caleb, big body, uses his body. He's going to use it to he's going to turn the corner right here and just score on Messi or not. I don't even think he scored on this play. I'm not sure if he scored on this play or not, but I think he got fouled for sure.
Yeah, I think it was another foul.
Yeah, I believe this was free.
So that's him just taking his time. Pick and roll action. Oh, actually, he did score.
No, he scored. He should have been a foul. That's when Missy got hurt.
Big time.
That's when Missy
this
went
should have
down,
been a foul.
But again,
Yeah.
that's what we've been talking about in a couple of the other coaches' corners. Like after that screen, stop hesitating, get your shoulder inside of them, get downhill. And
The
Yeah,
fact
no,
that
absolutely.
and
And
the
that's
fact
they
that Flip
just
stayed with the
basically
screen
wanted
no
too.
no wasted movement right there.
Nothing.
Yeah,
That
he
was all
just
game for them.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, absolutely. He just basically created that advantage, man, and then he just finishing through contact, and that's exactly what we needed because early on in the season, only person that was getting to the rim was Jeremy. Now, if
Hmm.
we can have Caleb, attacking the rim like that, we're gonna be straight.
And
We're gonna be
McCain
straight.
and Reese, all three of them, or
Yeah,
four of
Yeah,
them. I
I
mean,
almost wonder, I know I'm sure we have a couple more plays to show, but I almost wonder while we're talking about Proctor if, he's had a couple games. We talked about the benefit that this does for guys like Kalen Foster and Jared McCain. But, sometimes it's beneficial for a guy like Tyrese Proctor, who certainly didn't have the start to the season that he wanted to kind
hmm
of have a couple of games where he can, see some of this action and pick that up from watching from the sideline. I think
hmm
he's going to come out motivated when he does play, whether that's against Queens, Syracuse, or after that. But it's certainly going to help.
yeah.
no,
And
absolutely.
one more thing I just want to point out, and Jack pointed this out right before we started this one. I think it's just watch. Bridges down low has to sag back to Mitchell. He knows Mitchell's there. And
Right.
instead of staying up on the driver, he sags back because you think Missy's got it. He's their shot blocker. You think he's got it, but there was no help, which is something that Baylor is constant with. Like even McCain's man over in the corner would have generally helped in this situation. He can't. He
Yeah.
just can't because
Right.
of what this team did to them all game. They couldn't help where they wanted to help. Man, it was
And
it was just so
that's
good,
all
bro.
designed too.
yeah.
That's all designed
Absolutely,
too
and
by
not only
Shire, so he
design, but this
knows
was called for Caleb.
exactly
This
what
play
he's
was called
doing.
for Caleb. Like, look at the screen and
Absolutely.
rescreen, screen and rescreen. Like this play was called for Caleb. They didn't give up on the screen for Caleb. Like that was the play. The play was Caleb, go get yours. Like do
Absolutely.
whatever you got to do.
Duke
Cook
is
is
one of
not
the
passing
few
that ball.
teams. Duke is one of the few teams that they didn't allow Baylor to switch on those screens either. If you watch any Baylor film, Baylor switches on those screens.
Mhm.
You won't see that mismatch. But like Pablo said at the beginning, John did a lot of stuff that just called Scott Drew's bluff.
Mhm.
How do you want to lose? Like death by 1,000 cuts? Because we just saw 4 people open on that one play.
Mhm.
So
Absolutely.
Like
early
Hubert
in the
Absolutely.
Davis
shot
once said,
clock,
"How do you want it?"
early in the shot clock, get downhill. I mean, that's the type of Duke basketball we wanted to see. We wanted to maximize possessions. We wanted to see a lot of, a lot of offensive possessions, a lot of shots, a lot of threes.
Mhm.
They
Yeah,
did everything in that game.
All right,
absolutely. If you go
Pops.
to
It
51,
worked.
58, and then this is basically just Flip just saying that I'm better than you. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's a huge moment, another huge momentum play that we had going on. Just flipping the post, just backing his man down, uh, putting a spin move on him, a drop step, and then just coming back with a reverse pivot for 2. And this is exactly what Duke needed. He's
Especially
just
with the
got an
lead, man.
empty side.
Especially with the lead. This is such high basketball IQ from the players, from John forcing this action. Like in this situation, you got a 1 point lead after coming back from being down 6. Everything else that had happened throughout that point of the game. One of the tendencies might be to shoot the 3, might be to settle for a shot or whatever. We didn't settle, man. We attacked. We just kept attacking at the end, and that's what got us to the winner's circle in this game, man. We just consistently took high level 2s. Like you take strong 2s, you're gonna win the game. The 3s are nice, and they get you to a certain spot, but like easy 2s at the rim is what you want, man. You want 2s.
Yeah, and the
2s
thing
win you
too is
games.
that, and that's what the benefit is a huge benefit of having a guy like Kyle Filipowski
Mm-hmm.
because 1-on-1, not too many guys can guard him. You know what I mean? He might block a shot or 2 or whatever, but
Mm-hmm.
overall in time, he's gonna be who he is, and he's gonna put the ball in the basket. So, you know what I mean? Having a guy like Filipowski is huge for Duke.
Yeah.
And with
Especially
that,
considering up to this point in the game, too, how Missy had been handling Flip, quite honestly.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
through
yeah.
the first half and everything, Flip was playing kind of weak at the bucket.
Yep.
And
Mhm.
for him to finish as strong as he did, and unfortunately got that 4th foul and came out, but Ryan Young, replaced him very, very admirably. But I mean, Flip really did come. He responded well from a bad start, which is great to see.
There was also no help defense yet again allowed. I mean,
Once again,
everybody has to follow their man out to that 3-point line,
absolutely.
Yeah,
opening
kind
up
of
all
looking.
that space
Yeah,
for Flip to just operate whatever he needs to do.
yeah. To your point, D. Like you can kind of watch. I'm just kind of watching this play, watching where Mark Mitchell is. Like that's exactly where he needs to be.
Yep.
You know, because you can't go help there because then that's a dunk for Mitchell there.
100%.
Mark
Yeah.
literally did the same thing all game. Mark was in the corner,
Exactly.
and
That's
every
what-
time
we've been
somebody
talking about
drove,
that. We've been
every
talking about
time somebody
that for
drove,
weeks.
this is where Mark Mitchell ended up
Exactly,
right
and that's
here.
where he should
And
be.
and we don't have the play highlighted, but it resulted for him in a putback dunk in the second half that was big because it kept us from going down 8.
Yeah.
It kept us at that 6-point mark. Actually, might have when it got within 4 on one of the putbacks he had. He had a nice putback dunk in the second half that went from this spot right here. Like every drive, every post play to the bucket, Mark was right there.
And those are the little subtle changes, though, that
Mhm.
Giant Shire made that makes a huge difference because no matter if like the defense is going to play Mark Mitchell like that, regardless if he's in the corner for a 3 or if he's right there close to the basket.
Right.
He's just more effective being close to the basket. So
Mhm.
keeping him there is exactly what Duke needed to do.
Yeah.
So
And look at
that's a
Chama
huge, huge
Chakwa.
improvement.
He couldn't help on flip. Like he just couldn't.
No, he can't. He can't because it'd be a
He
dunk.
just
You know
couldn't.
what I'm saying?
Right.
Right. That's my
Right.
But the
point.
thing about it
He's
too,
in the
though, you
perfect
remember
position
Number
there.
one.
early in the year, Mark would be in the corner.
Right.
You know what
He'd
I
be a
mean?
3-point line still.
So it's really neutralizing anything that Duke was trying to do, and that's why
Yep.
Filipowski was having a tough time scoring in the box because his man would just, Mark's man would just come down and double, and they would kick it out, and Mark is
Mhm.
one for like 18 for the season on
Right.
3-pointers. So you know what I
You
mean?
let
Like
us
it's
you let us go on a run this month in January, and I guarantee you see teams stop doing this stupid sag defense. They'll be
Well,
done with
Yeah.
it. Like
the other thing though is for Duke and for Mark Mitchell specifically is that he's going to get more and more comfortable in this essentially new role that he's being asked to play.
It's a good
Mhm.
point, TK. I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. AC, go ahead and go to 54-35, where we're gonna
all
see
right.
some wheel action, and I think this is where Caleb goes 1-on-1 and scores a bucket.
Oh, is this the behind the back?
I believe so. I believe so.
That's nasty.
These
He
are
pulled that
all
move earlier in
big
the game
moments.
too.
All in big moments, you know.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
this just speaks to so you see the wheel action with Flip coming
Yep.
down, boom, back to Foster. He's gonna take his time, patience. He'll get the ball back
Nothing
and make
forced.
a move.
Yep. Nothing
Very
forced.
headsy and patient. What a
Yeah.
patient
Well, it's just a
play.
great
This
move.
is a big time play, man.
You
That's just a
should have
big time
seen.
play.
You should have
Great move.
seen the crowd when that happened.
That's just a big
I'm
Like,
sure
time
they were
obviously
play.
live. I'm sure they were
not
live.
talking.
I thought for sure John was going to call a timeout when they got that when they got scored on for the third time there instead of just letting that play run out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I think he's trusting those guys just a little bit more every minute of every game.
Yeah.
And then Caleb saw
that's
the
an elite
shot
move.
clock there and said, oh shit, I got to score now.
Yeah.
That's
And
it.
this is
That's
where
an
earlier in the
elite move,
season
man.
Yep.
with Tyrese on the floor, this is where the freshman would have just thrown it back out to Tyrese and hoped he could have done something with 2.5 seconds left on the clock. Like they would have panicked, and they don't do that anymore. They don't panic anymore. And this is a big
Yeah.
game. This is one like this was against whatever excuse people want to use. When they want to continue to say that John can't coach and the team isn't ready and everything else. Oh, we did it against Charlotte. We did it against Hofstra. It doesn't count.
Yeah.
Like, this is a top 10 team. It counts. Like this
The
counts.
other part about that, though, it's not so much the opponent, but if you're going to talk about John and the coaching part of it, then you need to watch the game from this perspective. And I think this is what's really going to help a lot of fans that kind of get into the message board, Twitter world traps of seeing the same regurgitated,
Talking
group
points.
group think talking points. Where if you start breaking it down, if you watch this game and how we're breaking it down to what we saw, probably the most notoriously against Georgia Tech, you see the adjustments that the coaching staff is making. We've already pointed out with Mark, but you see it with the freshman guards. And who's a Pablo, you talked about just the confidence that Jeremy and Flip have in the freshman guards. Maybe it was D, but those are all things that come from practice and from watching film and from kind of learning and owning who you are as a player and what you're being asked to do in your particular role. And I think that if you're doubting Shire, if you were doubting him, like this is an opportunity for you to be like, okay, I see what the tangible changes that he's making
Yeah.
right here. And we saw especially in the second half.
Yeah. And especially this game, from this point on, to the end of the game, and this is where the real chess match begins. You know what I mean? And it's gonna start with this next play at 56:30, and it's gonna be
56-30.
56:30. And that's just basically John Shire understanding that Caleb Foster is cooking right now.
Mm-hmm.
And not just that though, is that, Jacoby Walter, he has 3 fouls. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So he knows he's gonna play. He's guarding Caleb. He wants to get him on Caleb. Caleb's gonna get him. He's gonna go 1-on-1, and he's basically gonna get to the rim and get another foul drawn on him because Jacoby Walter just was playing passive at this point because he didn't
Mhm.
want to pick up a 4th foul because there's so much time left in the game and they need him. So
Yep.
here's the chess match now. Now John is like, okay, well,
Yep.
we're gonna make you guard. You know what I'm saying? And you got the most fouls on the team right now, so we want to draw another foul on you. We want to get you out the game.
here.
So
think that-
basically,
And this
it's a
was
one-on-one.
Huge.
And this was straight up like the ball just got down court. We just like this was straight
Yeah.
up go get it. Like
Yeah.
don't
they're
hesitate, no hesitation,
Yeah,
hunt.
they hunted him.
Yep.
They definitely hunted him.
Look, go get him. Boom.
This is exactly what they wanted to do.
I mean,
And
they had
it
to do
worked.
that against that Baylor defense. You cannot. You
Yeah.
have to start early in the shot clock and
Mhm.
early and often, and for 40 minutes, and they
Sure.
did it. They did
And
it because
this is-
Baylor made their runs.
We
Right.
pointed out every year. This is John versus UVA. John had the UVA scout beautifully, and Kay just let him run with it. And John was the architect of what we've been able to do against UVA for the past 6 or so years now. And you saw the same thing against Baylor, a great defensive team. They don't really play pack line; they play funnel. And John was like, "We're not gonna let you do that."
Okay, so 58-28. This
Gotcha.
is where the pick and roll chess match starts to begin.
But look at those levels, man. So much better from where we were to start the season. Look at the levels. Look at the spacing.
Oh,
Yeah,
but
so you're gonna see this is gonna be Roach and
Spacing is beautiful.
Young in the pick and roll, and just the placement of where he's gonna have the shooters at, it makes it almost impossible for Baylor to
Mhm.
help off because he's gonna have, I think, so he's going empty pick and roll. Empty pick and roll
Yep.
basically
Empty
is
side.
it's just an empty side with nobody there. They call it empty or weak, whatever one you
Mhm.
want to use. And you see how you got Caleb right there. He can kick to Caleb if he needs to. Caleb's man really can't help because he know Caleb could stick to 3. And Jared's man definitely ain't gonna leave Jared.
He
So
definitely
it's
leaving with him
basically-
getting cooked all night long.
Exactly. So he's basically going 1-on-1, and you see
Yeah.
Ryan Young already rolling out of the pick and roll. He's wide open, so he's just gonna get the easy basket. So go ahead and run it, AC.
Too easy.
That's just too easy.
Boom.
Right there.
that's
And-
Too
beautiful
easy for a
basketball.
guy like Ryan Young.
Yeah, exactly. And I love the shot. I love the
Guys
shot.
behind me
by-
went
by-
crazy
by
when that
Ryan Young.
happened.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Right.
I'm sure the Garden was
They
nuts.
did.
exactly.
Ryan Young
And
scoring in a big time, especially with the first half when they brought the Ryan Young, Mark Mitchell lineup out and we kind of lost the lead. Everybody was mad about it, and everybody was calling for John to be fired mid-game. Like, you know what I mean? Like this was
happened?
beautiful.
Damn, I
I think
missed
this
that.
was very validating. Was seeing this play happen and play out the way it did.
yeah, run it one more time, AC, and then pause it
You
like
know.
right when he dribbles to the middle.
Flowers
All
for
right.
Young for sure, man. He played great,
So
great.
pause it.
Seriously.
So pause it now. So if you just look at everything now, so you got the empty pick and roll. Obviously, you got Caleb up top, Jared on the wing, Mark is in the corner, the weaker shooter, because that's from that angle. That's like the hardest pass there. So obviously they
Yep.
strategically placed Mark right there. You know what I'm saying? Because they know they don't even want him to shoot the ball. You know what I mean? But as Jeremy starts to drive, you see Mark start to go closer and closer to the basket in
Inching in.
case he can dish it. So this is just basic normal stuff that John Shire is just figuring out. You know what I mean?
And once
it-
again,
it's impressive.
Mark's man can't help, man. Like, look at
Yeah.
that.
Absolutely
Mark's
not.
man refuses to help. Like, cannot do it.
By
Absolutely
the time
not.
he does, it's too late.
Yeah,
Duke fans need to get
absolutely.
used to this because
And now
we're-
you've been
we're-
put on a Ryan Young pump fake T-shirt.
like
Most
we're-
people get put on T-shirts when they get dunked on. So Ryan
Love to
Young, you
see
get
it.
put on a T-shirt when you get the pump
Love
fake on
to
you.
see it.
Yeah, I mean, we're joking about the pump fake, but it's actually a great move here because it should
Absolutely
show
was.
like he's under control. So that's great. But I also love where Mark was there when Ryan is pump
Whoopsies.
faking. He's got the better position in the off chance that Ryan Young does miss that.
Mhm.
So that's
And-
all
and-
been put in place for that reason.
Kudos to Mark being in position all night because half the I don't have the box score in front of me. How many offensive rebounds did Mark have?
A lot.
I'm not sure.
I know
He drew
I
us.
know he had to have 60% of
He had-
our offensive rebounds.
He
He had
drew a
one
not
offensive
insignificant
rebound.
number. He
He
drew a
had
not
one offensive
insignificant
rebound.
number of fouls.
Yeah.
Go to 59-37 AC, and it's basically the same play. And this is where John Shire is setting them up for the okie doke right here. He's
Mhm.
running the same play, pick and roll weak. This is where I think Jeremy hits the elbow jumper on this one, but it's the same placement. Everybody's still
Right.
in the
He
same position.
sags.
Step back,
Whoopsies.
boom,
That's so nasty.
jump
I don't
shot.
care. I want to hear anybody say you can't shoot the mid range anymore. Be done with that narrative, man. Be done with it. If you're good
It's
at
only
it,
a
take
bad
it.
shot
Jeremy
if it
Roach
doesn't
is so
go
good
in.
at it. Exactly. Jeremy Roach is a king at the
Absolutely.
mid range.
And that right there was those were back-to-back plays.
Yep.
Right.
And they run it for a third time at an hour and 25 seconds, right?
This is the
And
one.
so this is the biggest play of the game. So
Hour
I'll
and
let you run
25.
it. So just play it from right there.
Yeah.
And that's just Baylor. Let Baylor do their thing.
Oh wait, I'm ahead of it. There we go.
Use your arrow keys, bro. It's
Yeah, I got
easier.
you.
Left and right arrow keys.
That's what I do.
Right.
That's what I was doing.
So,
You good?
Boom. Go ahead. Let them
Get
run
out.
it.
Get out. Get out.
All right. Pause it.
Clear,
Come on, Caleb,
clear.
get out.
You
You want me to pause it?
Yeah. So go ahead and pause it now. Right. So it started out empty pick and roll again. He inverted the play, right? He shifted everybody over there. So now it's a strong side pick and roll. But what
Yep.
Young did was flip his screen.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Right.
Jeremy's going to use that. And what it's going to do is going to bring Jared McCain. Now he's the only one in the corner, but he's going to lift a little bit. And now his man is the tag man. So
Mhm.
it's either you step up to stop Jeremy or you give up a three.
Yep.
Mhm.
His dumb ass gave up a three. You know what I'm saying? When roll came out, when Young came out of this short roll, it's like boom, he's wide open. He didn't have a choice.
Right. He knew, dude. Ryan Young knew too. Like he was so ready to pass that ball.
Yeah, he
If
almost
he
threw it. He
And
almost threw it
that's
too
the thing,
early.
though. That's the thing, though. Is even if he didn't pass the ball, he still was gonna score because you
Yeah.
got two little guys. You know what I'm saying? That you basically gonna go over the top of anyway.
You're
And
scoring or
Ryan
going
Young,
to the free throw line.
yeah, exactly. So I mean, either way, it was a win-win for us.
Oh,
Boom,
that's so pretty.
biggest play of the
That's so
game,
Jared
bro.
McCain,
Like
catch and
It's
shoot,
so
always
pretty.
ready.
that's the
I know.
chess
I
match
know.
right there, bro.
I know that place was loud, Jack. I know that place was loud.
There were people
That's
who
the
were
chess
pissed
match.
off Ryan Young didn't just take it to the hoop, and then they immediately shut their mouth when that shot went in.
Right. Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
great play. And the other thing, I just want to talk about the fundamentals with Jared McCain. Look at him in shooting position, ready to
Yeah.
catch and fire. I
Mhm.
mean, it's just
Yeah,
that's
shot
really
preparation.
football. Right.
Not to
Yeah.
mention, I mean, and hats off to Jeremy, man, about how he ran the pick and roll. Like the passes he made were so perfect every time. Like the pocket passes, the dump pass he had to Ryan when Ryan hit the layup, him hitting that mid range. Like Jeremy was a a maestro when it came to this pick and roll.
A maestro.
No,
Can I just
no,
also
absolutely.
say one last thing about that pass by Ryan? Can
Mhm.
we go back to that?
Of course, I want to see this again.
It's beautiful, but look at where he hits Jared. Play
Right
it
in the
until
shooter
Jared
pocket.
catches. Right
in the
in the
shooter
shooter's pocket. For a big man to do that,
Like Daniel Jones.
On the run.
yes, sir. Shout out my guy Danny. Free my guy Danny. But no, it's on the run from a big man, basically right in the shooter's pocket. That is an incredibly perfectly executed pass.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's why
I mean, to
Ryan
the
Young
point where-
has value.
To the point
Even
where
if-
to end this game, Flip was an afterthought to end this game. Like,
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely agree
even
with
with
that.
4 fouls, not needed.
Yeah.
Not needed.
Even if Jared McCain misses that 3-pointer, Ryan Young made the right decision on that pass.
Yeah.
100%.
He was in position for an offensive rebound too.
And he and Mark were right there for the board. Look, we're basket
Right.
side on the
that's
boards.
it, yeah.
We're
Duke's
basket
getting
side on
that
the boards.
ball. Duke getting that ball in the hoop one way or another on that possession.
Absolutely. We're basket side on the boards right there, man.
Yeah,
That's
we did
beautiful.
our thing, man. So last play, and then I'll be done with
Alright.
it. So it'll
I
be
got
at
you.
an hour and 3 minutes and 23 seconds. And this is where you just got mad options on this play. You had so many different options, and Jeremy basically took it upon himself to just be Jeremy Roach. You know what I mean? Because the
He's so
option
quick.
really was that, you know what I mean, the primary option really was Jared McCain on this play.
Yeah.
You see, as he slipped his screen, he ghosted out of that screen, and
Mm-hmm.
not only did he did that, he just flared out a little bit enough to where Flip could have stepped up and set a screen on his man too. But it happened so fast, I don't think that they were ready for it.
Yep. And for the first time all night, Mark's defender finally came over and helped, but he was way too late.
Way too late. And that's
way
just
too
Jeremy
late. That's why he got the foul.
Jeremy is cat quick, and you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean,
that's just a veteran. That's a veteran move. Seeing an alleyway and just taking it.
Bro, that's so quick.
That's crazy.
That's why we spent. That's why we spent so much time. That's why we spent so much time last week saying that he's not Quinn Cook. It's not the same thing. Like totally different.
It's not.
Totally different.
Yeah. Quinn wouldn't make that move, and that's not. We're not
Totally
dissing Quinn Cook.
No, we're not.
Players. They're just different players. But Jeremy Roach, I mean, you know, like Pablo said, he understood what time it was. It was Jeremy Roach time.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And you got Missy on Flip. Flip takes Missy away from the play. Like such a good play.
And that right there was basically the end of the game right there.
Oh yeah.
That was the dagger.
So
yeah. Any hope that they had
was really the dagger, but this is just the icing on the cake.
Yeah, this. Let me just ask a question. Who said that we were gonna win 78-71 when we won 78-70?
That sounds like something I would have said, Jack.
TK knows it was Jack. TK knows it was Jack.
Unfortunately, Jack reminded us right after the game. But yeah, no, I mean it was a great call.
Yeah, hey, it was a good vibe.
No doubt. I mean, if it was going to be a prediction from one of the guys here on the 5-point play, I'm glad I was the guy that was actually at the game.
There you go.
But overall, man, I mean, just a gritty win. Glad we were able to break down the film here. And again, Coach's Corner on Patreon. We're going to do plenty more of these as the season progresses. Let's talk about the next game that we do have, which is Saturday. I got some good news and bad news. Good news and bad news. The good news is that after 10 days, Duke is playing. The bad news is that it is on the CW. So I apologize in advance for that. The absolute worst broadcast I've ever seen in my entire life. Hopefully we can just blow them out and we don't have to worry about it. Queens is 6-8. They're 0-7 on the road. They're having a tough year. AC, you're a huge Queens guy, obviously.
My brother-in-law went to Queens, man. I was gonna try to go to the game with him.
You're a big Queens guy.
Yeah, totally.
Break it down.
Man, this is gonna be a game in similar style to the Hofstra game because they don't really have a big. They have one big. They got 1 7-footer that they play. I don't know. I think he barely gets double-digit minutes if I'm not mistaken. He's not a huge factor. I guess is the main point. And so they're gonna play. We're gonna play this game very much like we played the Hofstra game. Like I think you're gonna see some action from Flip once again, kind of running things on the pass, especially from that mid post. I think you'll still see some, kind of some of the same things we've gone with. Obviously, you'll see some guys get some more time that usually don't get a lot of time. They have a couple guard scores, so defensively, we're just gonna have to continue to lock in and do what we do, especially on any kind of screen action. They're gonna be looking to shoot threes. What are they on the season from three? I gotta pull it up. Not a great 3-point shooting team, but they take a lot of them. They take 33s a game. They only shoot 33% from three. So, yeah, I mean, I fully expect this to be a big blowout, fully, especially coming off that Baylor game. I think people will say that this is going to be a trap game or whatever before we start the ACC season. I don't think so. I think this team is in such a groove right now with what we're doing. Honestly, I think the biggest news would be if Tyrese played at all. But this is going to be a blowout. I'll just go and give my prediction now. I think we hit 100 this game. I think we go 105 to 67.
It's a good game to have off of a break, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, D, speaking of Tyrese Proctor, do you expect him to play?
I mean, if I had to guess, if I had to put money on it, like my gut, yeah, I think we might hear some noise in the next few days about Tyrese coming back and playing, because it would be a perfect game to bring him back and let him get 7 to 10 minutes or 10 to 15 minutes if he's feeling up for it. But just the way he was acting off the bench in a couple of those clips that we watched, I mean, jumping up, running, clapping. I mean, he seems to look like he can bounce around a little bit. So Queens would be a great game to bring it back for, especially when you got Syracuse on Tuesday.
Yeah, no doubt.
What are we at now? About the 3? Are we at the 3 or 4 week mark now about him being out with injury?
I
What was
believe
Georgia Tech?
It was December 2nd.
Yeah, it'll be right at 4 coming back.
Right, exactly 4 weeks.
So it should be right there then.
Yeah. So do you want to give a prediction then?
I mean, nothing but a blowout. Just win. I get nothing. Like if it's close, it's bad.
Okay, Jack, what do you got?
I mean, when I tweeted about Queens when this game was first announced, their coach responded to my tweet because I said, there's a team that just moved up to D1 and they were up there in the A-Sun last year. Their coach tweeted back at me and said respect because I complimented their game. Their Barstool account also said the same thing. Like my cousin attended Queens briefly. I have a little bit of a soft spot for them, but this is not going to be.
They were a good Division II team, man. They were a good Division II team.
They were. It's like similar to Bellarmine, honestly. They're able to make that jump and be like competitive, but this is a team that gets blocked about 5 times a game because they don't have the size really to match up against D1 programs. They're going to try to beat you from the perimeter because of that, and this year they really don't have the guys for that. They are outshot percentage-wise from 3 by their opponents as well. Part of that might just be they play a tougher schedule. I'm not going to lie, I haven't looked into their schedule that much, but
fair point.
I can say this. I can say this honestly. It is going to be a blowout. Pablo, what is it you always say when we do these predictions?
Man, I don't give a fuck about no score. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit.
Yep.
Just
What Pablo said. That's my prediction. Just win. Just win. Win the damn game. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care what happens as long as we stay healthy.
Come out of this with no injuries.
And also,
I think that's that.
Get out of the damn CW purgatory.
Oh, God, it's so horrible. It would be a really bad coach's corner if we had to do an emergency coach's corner if we were to lose this game. No, I think we blow them out. Let's not sugarcoat it. This is a good game for us to kind of dust off a little bit of the rust after a 10-day layoff. And then, like you said, we got Syracuse coming up on January 2nd. We'll do another podcast before that, and we'll preview that game right before the new year. I mean, 2023 is coming to an end. Duke basketball is just getting heated up, though, Pablo. We are ready to roll. I'm not even going to give you an opportunity for the prediction because you already said what you want to say. We're going to win the game. Just fucking win. And so, right. Huge year for Duke. Huge year for John Shire. 2024 is going to be even better. We predicted it before the season began. We ain't running from it. And a little bit of a stumble there. We are
ready to go.
We're trending. If you've already jumped off the train, I'm so sorry. No more stops until we get to the Final Four. You're off the train. For those who are still on the train, we got first-class service coming. Get your drink orders in. Get your meal orders in. We are ready to roll. Get that cocktail D. We are going to be having a big New Year's here. Let's go, Duke.
Let's go, Duke.
Let's go, Duke.